Last night, for those of you that weren't aware, most likely everyone here was aware, Sony released a State of Play. And I don't know about you guys, but I hope that Ubisoft took a couple of notes on that particular presentation. Maybe then they'll be able to understand what a gameplay reveal should kind of look like. Or at least just gameplay in general, instead of just in-engine things and cutscenes and, very quick vertical shots. And this is what showcasing gameplay should be like. So Ubisoft, take notes. But anyway, they put out this State of Play all about Ghost of Tsushima. And today I'm going to be looking at the footage. I've already seen the video multiple times, but I'm going to be looking at it. And I'm going to be pausing it like every 5 seconds or so whenever I think that there's something relevant. So if you want to watch the whole thing nonstop, you're better off going to PlayStation's channel or whatever. But I'm going to be pausing it like whenever I think that it is important to mention a couple of things that I noticed and to just say a couple of opinions on what is being showcased in this gameplay. So let's begin. State of Play. Let's full screen this. Now, Sucker Punch, for those of you that aren't aware, these are the people that were also behind Infamous.
Jason Connell from Sucker Punch Productions,
which is also another franchise that I like.
About Ghost of Tsushima, combat, customization, special modes. But first, let's take a look at how you explore the world of Tsushima.
Just from the get-go, look at how beautiful this game looks. I love the vibrant colors and just like how the world itself looks. I'm gonna pause right before we start here, because like where they start off your characters is perfect. Is a perfect spot. Like, look at this. This whole game, I'm sure that because of Twitch, just like Twitch or YouTube's, because I'm probably gonna put this on YouTube as well. Just because of the conversion and all that of the video, it's not gonna look as good. It doesn't even look as good as it's going to look on my end with 4K footage, but just look at this thing. It's almost like a painting. Like, you got these green fields here, you got the flowery fields over here, and then you got different points of interest. Like, you can see that there's a smoke coming out of here. There's probably some smoke coming out of there as well. You see a distant structure over there. All of this stuff kind of reminds me a little bit of Breath of the Wild, where the exploration of it was very organic. You kind of just like saw things off in the distance and you're like, well, I want to go there. And I want to go see what I can find on the way there. And I hope that that is something that they kind of take, because that was one of the best things about Breath of the Wild. It's like when I played through Breath of the Wild, I wouldn't boot up the game and be like, okay, I have to go here to do this objective. I'd be like, oh, what's that thing over there? Let's go over there and find out. That was pretty cool. Kurosawa of the Wild is the official internet game for the internet name for this game. That'd be cool. But yeah, let's keep going.
Exploration has been at the heart of our open world design since the very beginning. But
you can see again the multiple points of interest. Just like looking at here, I can see a bunch of places I'd like to go. Naturally, I'd like to see what's going on with this fire. I'd like to see what this thing is. Probably check out, there was a structure that I saw somewhere around here as well. Like just multiple points of interest from the get-go. And I'm assuming that these are some of the flowers where you can get those dyes, which will show up in the video. I'm getting ahead of myself.
You can't have exploration if you don't have curiosity. So we've continually asked ourselves, how can we let the island guide you in the most thematic and immersive ways possible?
Okay, so naturally we have to pause it here. This is the first shot that we get of UI and the map and stuff like that. So as you can see, there's going to be a journal like the track, quests and stuff that you pick up, I would imagine. This is going to have an RPG aspect of it, even if it is kind of like maybe RPG light. There's going to be gear, and your armor is going to influence how your character plays. It's not just cosmetic. There's going to be techniques. It's going to be like your skill tree. As far as I can understand, there's going to be collectibles that we'll be able to pick up because it's going to be a big open world and options like customized stuff and whatnot. This game's GPS is guiding wind. So basically you're going to mark stuff on the map and then you'll be able to just check and the wind will blow in the direction that you're supposed to go to kind of maintain immersion as opposed to just having like a big, you know, GPS thing. There's not even a minimap in the game and I hope they keep it that way. I really do hope they keep it that way. There's like this big map and if you need to orient yourself and whatnot, but I like the fact that there isn't a minimap because a lot of the times when you got games with minimaps, you end up, you know, focusing a lot of your attention on the minimap itself as opposed to on looking at the beautiful world that the developers have created. Now, another important thing here is that you also have this Legend of the Ghost. Now, this is going to be some kind of a reputation system, and I think it's going to be a very interesting one. I'm very curious to see how they're going to tackle this. It's not super explained in this particular video just yet, but yeah, we're going to get onto that a little bit further ahead. Now you can see that there's also points of interest here, like this looks like some kind of a settlement area or some small town. You got all of these question marks. These actually remind me a lot of Witcher. I don't know about you guys, but in The Witcher, like whenever you opened up a map, you would have all these question marks all over the place to kind of mark like, oh, these are points of interest, like small little events and stuff that will take place. So this game's also doing that. That I'm not as big of a fan of as I would be of you just like watching stuff from a distance as opposed to it being marked on your map. But I think it's more appealing from a mainstream perspective because there's a lot of people that are just like, I'm just going to check this thing off my list. Going to go over there, check this thing off the list. And the worst part about it is me being a completionist. If I see this, I'm like, well, guess I got to do all of them, you know? Whereas if I don't see them, I'll be like, hey man, maybe I'll find it. Maybe I won't. Maybe it will be an organic thing, you know? But yeah, this is what the map looks like. Undiscovered location. So, as you can see, whenever he presses the button, the wind kind of blows in the direction that you're supposed to go. And you can see kind of little particles going along with the wind. I think in terms of visuals, the game looks friggin' amazing. Just straight up. But then again, Infamous Second Son already looked pretty friggin' good. And me being more about animations than necessarily visuals, animations is what concerns me the most, and they are definitely delivering on animations. Naturally, you're going to have horseback riding, which is going to be your main means of transportation, but there's other traversal tools, like he also has a grappling hook. Now notice how the UI is completely empty. I hope this was not something that they did just for the gameplay footage. I hope that this is what the game looks like in the final product, like no UI. It just gives you a little bit of things here and there whenever you need them, and then whenever you don't need them, just get rid of them. Just full immersion. Okay, so here we go, right there. These are going to be things that you're going to be collecting, just resources. Looks like there's no animation for them, so you're probably going to be picking this stuff up by the hundreds as you're going through fields and stuff. They just don't want you to waste time with it, is what that tells me. There's no animation for your character picking them up or whatever. It's just like, boom, pick it up and keep going. That's actually a good thing because it lets you focus on what you want to do next without having to worry too much on the menial tasks of like, oh, I gotta go collect things here and gotta go collect things there, because that's not the main point of the game. I'm assuming that these particular materials that you're picking up, like right here, we're picking up 4 bamboo. I'm assuming that this is going to be stuff that will allow you to craft some of the different tools that you can use. For instance, when you're in ghost mode, you're able to, like, you know, deploy wind chimes and stuff like that. I'm assuming some of these materials will allow you to do that. Others will probably be for the crafting of arrows and stuff like that, because you also got a bow. And yeah, I don't know all of the utilities they have. I don't think you're going to be crafting armor, but maybe? I don't know. Oh, wow. Thanks. This is what I was scared of using the 4K footage. It is updating you on the distance from time to time. We got enemy markers indicating when enemies are about to become alert. This actually reminds me a lot of, what was that game? Freaking Far Cry? I mean, a lot of games have these kind of detectors, Metal Gear Solid, stuff like that. Basically, these are alert meters where, you know, if it fills up all the way, you know that enemies are alerted to your position. These are probably enemies that were in the little house that was up the hill. You got animals there. I'm assuming we'll be able to kill them for like meat and other supplies. You can see that there's like hunters over there hunting something, like over here. I wonder if they're Mongols or if they're actual, you know, locals of Tsushima. Looks like the only thing that you saw aggro there for was the beast, so maybe they're not Mongols. You can see the wind still blowing, marking the direction that you're supposed to be going. Okay, we got to the interest point, and we can see that this is Mongol territory. And this is the tracked location we had going. Now, each of those locations that you kind of mark on the map, you guys saw earlier, we had different stuff that you had marked. He put us on one of the question markers, which was undiscovered, and it's going to be, looks like just side quest content. Like in this case, you can go and you can rescue 3 hostages, and you get a bonus for killing enemies without healing. I actually haven't seen how healing works. I don't think they showcase any healing throughout the game, at least from what I can tell. So I'm actually curious if you like craft some kind of potion or whatever. But yeah, all of those things in the map are going to be side quest type stuff, and it's going to be different. But the interesting thing here is I think your objective is also going to differ depending on whether you are playing as a samurai or a ghost. Depending on maybe the choices that you make throughout the game. Because you guys will see when they showcase the combat what I mean by that.
Like this farmstead that's been taken over by the Mongols. It can also take you to your next big story moments or even help you find rare collectibles. But what about the things that you don't know about, that you haven't seen?
And you can see that after you identify these things, after you run over to them, they become identified in the map and they tell you what the rewards are that you're going to get. So this one's also going to give you a minor legend increase, which increases your reputation, which again, they do briefly mention one of the things that reputation can do.
That you don't know exist. Keep your eyes peeled for other visual cues. Smokestacks on the horizons, interesting and odd-shaped trees, or maybe even animals trying to get your attention.
Quickly, Nobu.
Now here they're going to show the bird thing. This bird can lead you to hidden locations and stuff like that, and other points of interest. Looks like up to our right, we're going to come up on another side quest that we can do. So there's an NPC there. You actually get to talk to it.
The spirits of vengeful samurai haunt this forest.
So probably you would go around, you would kill some samurai around here, and you'd probably solve some kind of mystery or something. But you are also able to talk to the NPC. Maybe you could influence the dialogue there a little bit more. Maybe you could pick up a quest from him or something that would then reward you for killing a couple of samurai in these woods. Who knows? Explore abandoned buildings, collect rare resources. Looks like you might be able to craft armor if you're picking up linen. And then you have fox dens, which you also have fox that can guide you to other points of interest. Specifically, foxes appear to only guide you to shrines. And shrines are also going to act as waypoints, which then allow you to fast travel through the map. You can honor the shrine. Inari Shrine honored, and this gives you a bit of a progression thing that then allows you to equip more charms. They will show us charms a little bit later in the video. Once you visit the location, you'll be able to return to it with fast travel.
Tsushima is rich with exploration and discovery, and whether you're just following a string of torii gates that'll lead you to a high mountain shrine, or maybe it's just a fox trying to show you something hidden in the woods. Either way,
Another cool thing there was...
Tsushima is rich with exploration and discovery.
It's a little bit more forward. Come on. Like, you notice the detail on the boots and him getting, like, the stuff muddied up and whatnot. I'm going to assume that the reason this clothing is dirty is because he went through the mud before he got here. And it looks like all of this is going to be somewhat dynamic. At least I would assume that this would be somewhat dynamic, like the stuff sticking to your character and whatnot. Lots of detail here, which, again, increases immersion. Even though it's not the thing that I care about the most, it's still nice to see a little bit of detail, so long as it doesn't, you know, it doesn't detract from the gameplay itself. The triangles for days.
Either way, bring your sense of adventure and let the wind guide you.
That's pretty cool. This is just going to be one of those games where you're going to be getting completely lost in the world and just exploring.
Lord Sakai.
My biggest fear is, one of my biggest fears about this particular game is how interesting the side quests are going to be. Because, for instance, that's something that Witcher 3 did really well. Now, you guys know that I'm not a huge fan of Witcher 3 combat, but the game itself, the design of the side quests and all of that was god tier. So if they do interesting side quests, you know, obviously the main campaign is going to have to blow everybody's socks off, but side quests are also going to be extremely important. How interesting they are and whether or not they just become, you know, a checklist for you to just like, yep, I checked off the destroy the shipyard side quest, did that, you know? Now they're just showing like interesting locations and the variations on Jin's armor. Like, for instance, when your character looks like this, supposedly you're going to be playing more as a ghost than necessarily a samurai, because your armor is going to reflect your playstyle. Notice the saving icon over here. I wonder if this is some kind of like, oh, I need to save whatever. Maybe it's a save point, or what, or you're advancing time or something. And just look at all the stuff on screen right here. You can see the big stack of smoke over there. I assume you can go around through this position, go all the way up to that stack of smoke if you want to. You can see the pagoda over there, which looks like an interesting point as well. I see a bunch of ships here. I wonder if we'll be able to get on ships and maybe a little bit of, you know, just to move around. Like maybe I could take a ship from here to here, or if ships are just there for, you know, decoration, if they're actually going to be something that you'll be able to interact with. Like, I don't want Assassin's Creed naval combat or anything of the like, but, you know, it would be cool to have some stuff in the sea, but I don't know if they had the time to do that or not because of the level of detail that the game has. So now they're going to showcase some combat as the samurai. And I want you to pay attention.
Hi. This is Nate Fox from Sucker Punch. Now, we just showed you some exploration, but let's switch gears and check out some combat.
It is important to mention that when they talk about the samurai, they just say, oh yeah, this is the samurai, okay? Almost as the honorable samurai. They don't mention honorable, but you'll see why this is relevant when they talk about Ghost, okay? You can see the radar there.
Movie, you know what to expect. Two warriors sizing each other up.
Now, this standoff mechanic is something that I'm very curious. Are you going to be able to just like walk all over the world and just be like, standoff, standoff, standoff? Like, you're going to run into a random enemy, like they ambush you, and you're just like, no, 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 no. This is not ambush. Now we fight. This is a duel.
Waiting for the other to make the first move.
Fight me!
Fight me! So apparently you can challenge enemies, but apparently it's not a duel, because immediately after you kill this guy, his friends attack you. Like, right? Like, look at this guy. Came out of nowhere. Now, a cool thing, you can't really see the detail here very well, but if you go back to the video that Sony has posted on YouTube, you can see this. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you guys. But this is a very minor thing. But this guy's face, again, you can't see it very well. I can't even see it very well because I'm watching it in 1080p. But if you go watch the 4K footage, this guy's face is actually detailed. And his face goes like, ah, as he's attacking you. And then after your blade slashes him, his facial expression changes completely. Which I thought was a very nice detail. Like his facial expression goes like, almost like, he killed me. Which was a nice detail to see the complete shift in facial expression on the enemies once you slash them open. Like, look, you can actually kind of see his eyes like, like his face changed completely from the moment he got slashed. And then this guy gets slashed too. Now let's talk a little bit about the first things we get off of combat here. Now the second he draws his blade, does the Yai strike, we get this. So you can see that L1 plus R1 is probably going to do some kind of a special attack. I don't think they do the special attack in this particular video. One thing that they do use is charged attacks. Now I don't know the specifics of the combat at this point yet. I would assume that the Yai draw attack is basically automatically like a charged attack or something, right? But from that point onwards, you can just slash or you can charge your attacks. I think in here he just uses charged attacks. And also you get these circles. Actually, no, he doesn't use, because when you use charge attacks, you expend these circles. But this is going to be a very precise combat system. It's not going to be about slashing wildly. It's going to be more about, okay, each slash of the katana counts, which you can see right there. And every time you get a kill, you're going to get these circles, which then allow you to do charged attacks. Now, one of the things that I'm concerned about this is how are they going to handle difficulty in this situation, right? Like, are the enemies going to have more HP? Is that going to make sense? Like, do I get the slash at them and they don't die? And then I just get countered? Are they going to have hyper armor? Like, what's the difficulty situation going to be like? Because when you're doing a game where every slice is almost a one-hit kill, there's not a lot of room for difficulty. It's just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go around slashing everybody, killing them one hit. You know, that can be fun, but, you know, we already know that it's not one hit for every enemies. There are certain enemies that are going to take a little bit more doing. You guys will see that. But still, that is one of the things that I'm very curious about, is how are they going to handle difficulty? More enemies? More health? But yeah, it just slashes everybody wide open. You can see that our health is down there now. And now I want you to pay attention to another thing, which is we're doing the mission, the shipyard mission, as the samurai. And our objective is eliminate the war camp general. That's our objective. Okay? And you have bonus objectives for killing the enemies with half bows. The objective for the ghost is going to be very different.
As you can see, the Mongols are everywhere on this island. For Jin to succeed, he has to use real, skillful precision in fighting them. No wasted energy. Every strike must count.
Headshot. You can deflect arrows. Now this is really cool. That was like a critical dodge right there. It's like, let's check that one again. I forget which one is framed backwards. I wish I knew. Deflects the arrow. And then... this seems like perfect dodging. Perfect dodging would allow you to do devastating counterattacks, I would assume. And the next one is going to get parried. The parry right there with the instant slash again. And this guy is going to eat a charge attack. Oh, I hadn't noticed this one previously. Look at that. Watch his spear. Right there. That's probably the timing for your counter. But he was too busy deflecting the arrow from this guy. So this little glow probably lets you know, okay, this guy's going to attack. You can counter this exact moment. But he missed that counter because he was deflecting the arrow. Now here is a regular slash. Another regular slash, so he just slashed that guy twice. But that third one was not a regular slash. Like, watch carefully. So, slash 1. I'm going to go frame by frame. Slash 2. And now the third one, look at your... Maybe that wasn't for parry. Maybe that was indicating that the enemy was charging. Because this, in my book, is straight up charged attack. And now, pay attention to the I'm going to call them coins. They're golden circles. I don't know what they're supposed to symbolize, but I'm just going to call them coins. Pay attention to the coins in the bottom left-hand side. As he charges his attack, slash! This coin gets used up for that particular charged attack. Now, when you kill enemies, you still gain coins. So you have to balance it out. Some enemies you can slash, other enemies you'll have to do your charge. Some enemies you can charge slash, but other times you'll have to do, just regular slashes to get the stuff. And also notice the really cool effect of the wind that this particular attack's gonna leave. Whoa. That's fucking sweet. Now, there's also stances, and the stance on the bottom was the stone stance, which seems to be more about heavier attacks. And then we have the water stance, which is what they changed to now. And they say you can change the combat stances to inflict the most damage against specific enemy types. Now, water stance appears to be a faster attacking stance. You can see that he slashes a lot faster. I think we might have broken that guy's gauge. His guard or something. Notice also the dismemberment. There's dismemberment in this game as well, which is pretty cool. The little shaking off of the blood. The very honorable samurai. And now here you got the ghost. And watch what he says about the ghost.
Okay, so that was Jin fighting as a samurai. But now let's see him take on the same group of Mongols as the dishonorable ghost. As the ghost, he'll use every dirty trick.
Dishonorable ghost. Now, the first thing that I thought when he started talking about, okay, so here's the samurai, here's the dishonorable ghost. Very similar to the system that we had in Infamous. Now, I don't know how many of you guys played Infamous, but I played Infamous 1 and 2. No, wait. I played 1 and 3. I skipped 2. I never got around to playing 2.
If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
This rally thing.
2.5 years.
Thank you very much for being grossly incandescent for 30 months. Tip of the hat to you. Appreciate the support. Thank you. But as I was saying, in Infamous 1, the way things worked is you always had these decisions that you could make for just about every quest. And you could decide to be a nice guy or you could decide to be an evil guy. If you were a nice guy, then people in the world would react to you as kind of like a hero. Eventually, as your fame grew, you would become famous. If you were not a nice guy, then people would be scared of you and you would become infamous. And then your character's abilities would also change depending on the choices that you would make. So like if you were infamous, your eyes would start glowing red and your lightning would be red and just like you would get more powers about killing people. Whereas if you were picking the other route of being more a good guy, your powers would be more around disabling and just more about stunning enemies instead of actually killing them. So that was kind of like the decision that you could make in that game. And then the objectives that you could take as well. So like maybe one mission, you could choose between saving a bunch of people or killing someone else. And you would just like, I'm going to kill him, and that would change. And it seems like they're taking some of that DNA and importing it into this game, but I don't think it's going to be as linear as that. But we shall see. But anyway, in here we're playing as the ghost. And the first thing I want to call your attention to, I don't know if the samurai can do this, probably not, but the ghost can actually jump off the horse. So I'm assuming you'll be able to jump off the horse and do maybe an instant assassination move as the ninja, which probably might be something we won't be able to do with the samurai. Also notice how the armor is completely different from the one that we were playing previously because of what I told you guys that your armor is going to reflect the playstyle that you are doing at the time.
Even the odds. Even using fear as a weapon.
So here's one of the tools that you can use. He's going to use a wind chime. That's going to make noise, and then, boom, assassinate. Looks like you can still do the standoff even as the ghost. Like, look at the standoff thing popping up right there. Standoff. You can still tell him, fight me, as a ghost. But naturally, why would you want to? If you want to play as a ghost, you're going to just, like, assassinate him. I believe that this armor probably also grants you a level of stealth. Stabbed right through the throat. You can also see that the UI now shows kunai, and notice that we are in the stone stance, which is the stance of, like, I assume the heavy attacks. Boom, headshot to the face. And remember when I told you to pay attention to the objectives? Notice how the objective for the ghost is different from the objective of the samurai, but it's the same mission. The mission that we had previously was destroy the shipyard. It's the same mission we have now, except previously your objective was kill the general. This time it's destroy the black powder cache. So it's basically more about infiltration and sabotage than just straight up combat. Applying another distraction with the firecrackers. Assassinate. Chain assassinate. Get slashed, son. I find it surprising that the firecrackers didn't alert more people. Also notice the difference in playstyle. It makes me wonder if you can choose at any point, okay, I'm gonna tackle this as a samurai, I'm gonna tackle this as a ghost, or if it's gonna be more like, no, I'm gonna play more as a samurai as a playstyle, and you can do everything as a samurai, or you can do everything as a ghost. And there is something that they say in this video where they give an indication that your character is going from being a samurai to being a ghost. That makes it seem like it's not as much of a choice, but we'll see. Another important thing here is, I wanted to call this out, but I forgot about it, which is right here. Let me pause this. He's going to show, notice how on this character it says slaughter, and then the next character says assassinate. That's because you can't assassinate this guy with just one hit. Technically speaking, I'm not sure if slaughter is the correct term that you would want there, but I don't think you can kill that guy with one hit, because he's a little bit tougher than the other ones. He's got armor, and you guys will see him do an actual critical strike on him as well. But yeah, I think that one's more critical strike than slaughter. This one's assassinate, so you can just kill this guy, and then go after the other one. And now he selected the smoke bomb. He's gonna smoke bomb this dude. Boom. And then critical strike. See, I think if he was a lesser enemy, that would have been a straight up kill. But because he's chock full of armor, he's not gonna be as easy to kill. However, he's just gonna pop up a kunai through the neck. Chop. Boom, done. Another kunai right there to the throat. And this right here is where the reputation comes in play. So in this case, he's got more reputation as a ghost. So the Mongols fear him because they know, oh crap, it's the ghost, he's coming for us. And so he's like tripping all over himself, doesn't know what he's gonna do, and they're just gonna execute him. Like, see, the Mongols will learn to fear the ghost, use that to your advantage. So that's going to be an actual mechanic. Your reputation grows, your enemies start to be more aware of who you are. Now here they're going to show off the grappling hook, but we already knew there was a grappling hook from the very first tidbits of gameplay that I had seen. I already made like a video analysis of the very first gameplay that we saw in E3 2018, I want to say. It was a while ago. But even back then, I was already super pumped for this game. There's the R2 coming up for the grappling hook. Another bow shot to the face. I'd like to see them craft arrows or anything like that, but they don't do that in this demo. Looks like there's a lot of stuff that you can interact with in the environment. that allows you to do things. Like there was something you could do with that rope that we don't really get to see. I'm not exactly sure what that guy was looking at, but that animation is friggin' sweet. Let's see that again. Just stabs the guy through the mouth and then twists his neck. Just like look at that. And notice the facial expression going. They always go like, Now he's gonna ignite the stuff and blow up the shipyard. That explosion was not particularly impressive, though, I have to say. Then boom, shipyard destroyed. Now here they're going to show us some customization options.
You might have noticed that while fighting as the samurai, or sneaking around as the ghost, Jin had on a different set of armor. That's because the armor in this game actually gives you different mechanical advantages. It's not just the way it looks. It helps accent your chosen playstyle. As you explore the world,
I like the fact that the armor that you have represents your playstyle. That's one of the things that to me is essential in games. I like that stuff. I don't like. That's why sometimes I'm not a huge fan of like transmogs and stuff like that, because the armor that you're wearing doesn't exactly represent what you're doing. It can be fun at times, but I like a system like this, where it's just like, no, the stuff that you're wearing represents what you're doing. Imagine going around the world dressed up as a samurai, killing people as a ghost. That's kind of like immersion breaking a little bit. But then again, it's a single player game, so people can do whatever the hell they want. And here you have the charm system. As you guys saw, the more shrines you pick up along the way, the more shrines you honor. Eventually you start unlocking charm slots, and these are the charms that you will be able to equip. Now, the one that we see here is a defensive charm, where you slowly recover health while out of combat. See if they show more.
Omamori charms. They'll give you.
And in addition to charms, Jin can use technique points to learn and upgrade skills. Like I said, techniques is going to be like a skill tree type situation. Now, another cool thing that I would like is, I hope, because a lot of games do this thing, and usual games like this tend to do this thing where it's like, Sekiro did it too, by the way. Your one character can get all of the skills. I don't like that. I like when every time you play the game, you do a build. I like doing builds. I like having to make choices instead of just like, no, I'm just going to, doesn't matter where I put my points, because by the end of the game, I'll have everything anyway. I like there being meaningful decisions as to how you upgrade your character. Horizon Zero Dawn did the same thing, where basically by the time you were done, you could collect every single skill and every single skill tree, which makes the decisions less impactful. But I would like there to be more like, no, let's say, for instance, I don't know, let's say there's 50 skills. Probably there's going to be less than that. But let's say there's 50 skills. I think you should be able to get like 25 of them or something like that. You know, I want you to actually have to choose the play style that you're going to be doing. But what I would expect from a game like this is that by the time you're done, you're just going to have the entire skill tree. But we'll see. Let's see if they show more charms.
An edge in battle. But more importantly, as your legend grows, you'll develop.
Wind chimes release poison vapors that kill enemies who pick them up. So you can actually just throw a wind chime with poison, and the guy who picks it up dies. That's also a cool little charm if you're playing as a ghost.
Develop all new techniques which transform Jin from a samurai into the ghost.
See, all new techniques which transform Jin from the samurai into the ghost. I hope that transformation is optional. Like, if you want to be a ghost, you can become a ghost. If you want to be a samurai, you can stay a samurai. Maybe even have different endings. I think that would be cool. I think that would be really cool if you could have different endings.
But the thing is,
oh, come on.
You get to decide how those techniques evolve.
Smoke bombs restore 25% of your health.
And grow over time. It's always
They do say that you get to decide how your techniques evolve and grow over time. So that gives me a bit of hope that it's like, okay, here's all these skills, right? And depending on the play style that you've been using the most, here's what these skills look like. So maybe a certain skill would look a certain way if you're a samurai, and it would look a different way if you're a ghost.
worth keeping an eye out for dye flowers. Find enough of them, and you can change the color of an armor. So not
This
only
is
do you
what,
get to choose how the ghost gameplay evolves, but you can fine-tune the look as well.
This is what Kegren is going to spend his entire playthrough doing. He's just going to spend his entire playthrough picking up flowers and changing the color on his character repeatedly because he's damn near colorblind, and he's not going to be able to get the colors that he wants, but he'll still be the entire time picking up flowers. He's a professional ghost flower picker. That's what he's going to do. But I do like that you get to, express yourself a little bit. Now here they're going to show photo mode. Photo mode looks really sweet, by the way.
It would be a Sucker Punch game if it didn't have photo mode.
This is going to be
Photo
great
mode,
for
they
me
have
to make
features such as
thumbnails.
Color grading, depth of field, so you
I
can
like the
focus on
fact
the right
that
objects.
you still get
There's also new
animation.
features that really underline the motion and movement that's so great about our game. You
change
can
the
control
character's
wind's
expression.
direction, the speed. You can change out the particles to different types of leaves and fireflies.
I know that a lot of people don't care about this stuff,
You can
but
even select a track of
personally
music
I
from
do.
our original score that might be a little bit more fitting. So if you're into doing a photo, or maybe you actually want to do a video, there's something here for you. Here's a few that I've created.
I really do like the fact that they do that. Imagine how many wallpapers or, animated wallpapers are going to be created with this thing. You got the Japanese voice track as well, so that's going to be an option from the get-go, which is very welcome. God, those animations look
The
sweet.
Japanese voice track option with subtitles is a perfect fit for our game. So I'm happy to say that before the first scene even starts, you'll be able to turn this option on.
お侍様の戦い方じゃない。何を申す。
お侍どころじゃないよ。このお方は猛虎を打ち滅ぼすため。
You could have at least put some subtitles for us, man. Samurai Cinema. Now, this is something that I'm never going to use, but I'm happy it's there. This reminds me a little bit of those filters that they sometimes put in video games. I forget what they call it. There's like the grainy filter mode or whatever the hell they call it. I hate that. I really don't like when they, oh yeah, you can make it grainy, and I'm like, I can lose quality on the image? That's what you're saying? Okay. In a lot of games, it doesn't even make sense. They're like, oh yeah, we want it to look like a movie. And I'm like, it's a video game though. But in this case, I do think it makes some sense because there's a lot of samurai movies. There's a lot of people that are super hyped about samurai movies. And considering how much of a samurai game this is, you can basically just make it look like a samurai movie if you want to. But that is definitely a feature that is not for me at all.
Here at Sucker Punch, we are huge fans of samurai cinema. We wanted to create a way
Yeah,
for
film
people to
grain.
feel like
Is
you're
that this?
playing your favorite samurai movie. So we created a windy, black and white, film grained out mode that you can turn on from the very beginning of the game.
Definitely not for me. But anyone that's into it, I'm glad the option is there. No, Kegren, I'm not gonna let people vote on whether or not I play it in a way that I don't like.
Today, we've shared with you some of the unique ways that you can explore the island of Tsushima. We've also shared with you some of the ways that you can fight as a samurai, or assassinate as the ghost, or customize Jin, or play in special ways. But we have so much more to show you in the future. Ghost of Tsushima comes out on July 17th. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you later.
Okay, so first and foremost, let me just congratulate whoever was behind this particular presentation, because this is how, for starters, this is how you do a gameplay reveal, and also, this is how you show your game without spoiling anything. Because nowadays, I'm legit scared to look at certain videos of games, because sometimes developers just spoil like half their game in a trailer. It happens far too often. And this is a pristine example of how to show people your game without spoiling the story of your game, while still being able to, you know, deliver the message that you're trying to deliver, to just show everything that you want. That was perfect. Second, I'm super hyped. I was already hyped for this game a long time ago. I like just about everything I've seen. I have a couple of concerns in regards to difficulty, because I'm not sure if they'll be able to make things harder if a lot of the conflicts that you're going to engage in is going to be a one-slash thing. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. In some combat situations as well, let me actually just cut off the sound here. But like in some combat situations, like let's go here, you'll notice that enemies have this Assassin's Creed-like tendency to come at you one at a time. So like, so there's this guy, you challenge him to a duel, sure. Then there's the guy over there on the left and the guy over here on the right. Now the guy on the left is much closer and he has a spear. He could be attacking you right now. He's not. This guy comes in, gets slashed up. After his friend gets slashed up, he starts running, comes at you. Oh, apparently he didn't have a spear, he had a sword. Gets killed. 1, 2, 3. And then you come up ahead here, and it's pretty much the same situation. Then again, we don't get to see that much combat, so that's why I say I need to look at more combat to get an idea of how every engagement is going to be. Because I hope it's not the usual thing of like, oh, here's 5 enemies, but they're going to come at you one at a time. Like, look at this. We got the guy over there with the arrows. Sure, he's going to keep shooting at you. But we had a guy coming from the right, stops. Like, look at this. Look at this, right? This is very much like Assassin's Creed used to be. Like, look at this frame by frame. Guy comes in from the left. Guy comes in from the right. Guy comes in from the front. Now watch. Guy from the left is going to stop. Or is this the guy he stabs? No, this is the guy he stabs. There's another guy on the left. Never mind. God damn artifacting. Okay, so this guy comes in from the left to attack you. There's another guy here also ready to attack you. A guy in front of you and another guy to the right. The guy to the right, I think, is going to just start resorting to arrows. So this guy is the only one who attacks. Like, watch. Right here. What are you doing? You. What are you doing? It's like, oh. Maybe I should attack him. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. He looks dangerous. He's about to stab my friend through the chest. But let me think about it a little bit more, right? So boom, he's done. This guy did absolutely nothing. This guy is standing still all the way back there doing nothing. This guy right here, doing nothing. This guy is gonna die. And after he dies, this guy's like, my turn. Fight me. In the meantime, there's still the other guy all the way to the right there. And there's a guy shooting arrows. Okay. It's like, ah. Now notice, this guy circled around, still not attacking you, as you cut down his friend. And then you cut him down almost at the same time. And it's like, okay, my friend is dead. Okay, now I'm mad. Now I'm going to attack you. And here comes Bow Guy. See, that's something that concerns me. But we only got to see this scene, so I don't know what that's going to play like. But that is something that that concerns me, if that's the way it's going to be. Now, for the next combat scene, it doesn't make too much sense to analyze it like that because it's a stealth mission. So it's like, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of justifications that there can be for enemies not even noticing that you're there. You won't be able to take as many conclusions from it as you did from the other one. But that is one of the things that I hope doesn't happen, which is enemies just waiting to take turns on you. I basically need to see more combat to understand if it is going to be like that or not. But that's a very Ubisoft thing to do. That's what Ubisoft does. They're like, no. One at a time. One at a time. But then again, if they just swarm you, I'm not sure how you'd be able to handle it. But see, these are the type of improvements that I'm more curious to see in the next generation of video games, so to speak, than necessarily 4K visuals. You know, that's not as important to me as, like, for instance, AI of enemies. Because, like, if we have all of these visuals, but then the enemies are coming at you single file, it's like, whatever, right? But, yeah. That is Ghost of Tsushima.